Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, speed gamers around the world, league fans alike. You are tuned back into Speed Gaming 4 for the final match of Week 2 of A Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. I am Eudaimonistic, joined today by Tracy M. Tracy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I started off the week on comms. I'm ending up the week on comms. So what could be better? One last race to finish off the week. Looking forward to this. Both teams 1 and 2. So looking to go 2 and 2. So someone's gonna come out of here 2 and 2. Someone's gonna come out of here 1 and 3. Unless we get that weird tie situation that can happen. Haven't seen it this season, though.
Yeah, looking at this, this is kind of a pivotal race for both of these teams. As you mentioned, they're looking to get to 2 and 2 each. Out of a win today, and the first match between these two teams, Waffle House Drive-Thru actually lost to the Immortals, D-Demolisher versus Roach 788. This is actually Julloninja's, I believe, his first race of the season, and saltyphry is actually a transplant, a new racer to the league in Season 3. saltyphry being well known for tournament placements and a dominant ladder performance at 57% win rate, over 130 wins. Julloninja no slouch either, going 4-1 last season here in the league. So this would be an exciting matchup between the two.
And we did see a mirror in Link's house, and both runners are going to at least go into Uncle to see if you can get anything there, as we're going to get synced up here in just a second.
Seeing an Uncle start from both of our runners, this is open mode for League Week 2, meaning that they have randomized swords available to them somewhere in the world. Their goal is to just defeat Ganon, 7 crystals for GT and 7 crystals for Ganon himself.
And nice that they pick up bombs here in the chest here, so they won't have to worry about bombs going into Kakariko. We'll see if either one tries to score any more bombs, either on a tree pull or in the bush crab. And a key. Oh, interesting. saltyphry going ahead and going to check. Gets the key there. And we have Julloninja going to go over towards Saha, it looks like.
Yeah, so Hazrula, a strong play, a good divergent play for a lot of runners. Having one bomb available allows you to at least check the closet behind the Uncle, apparently Uncle, the old man himself. The village elder, as the hints like to refer to, which we don't have enabled, by the way, for the
Thank God.
Yeah, trying to discern when in the world those things mean. It looks like Tier 1 today is going to be blue rupees, potentially farmable, but probably not something you're spending time on.
Well, magic not going to be an issue right now, because we do get the bush crab with a whole lot of magic and a book in Saha, so oof. And a bottle sitting there on the lumberjack. Now, that bottle probably not going to mean anything. It's not impossible that could be the only bottle available for Sick Kid early on, and Sick Kid could have something. But most runners probably going to ignore that unless the state takes a turn that they don't expect.
Truly would be a point of desperation at that point. But hey, the almighty B, you never know. He could be on the A team instead of the B team. Armed with the 2 bombs remaining, Julloninja going to head into the forest to join saltyphry. saltyphry picking up a change in wireframe, looks like, into blue sprite. Blue
nice safety pickup. Not something the runners need, but you're not going to turn it down when it's that easy to pick up.
Yeah, on top of that, you're already dropping in. Now that shield, we may spurn that shield instead, though. We're walking that.
No one's picking up the shield.
I mean, for what it's worth, it does block arrows.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the shield is as bad as a lot of the runners make it out to be, but, it's still a bit of an extra walk. It's not quite free, so no surprise that both runners skip it.
Yeah, and every single frame counts here in the Invitational League. To those of you who are tuning in for the first time for the league, this is Week 2. We have 2 different separate divisions between the league. I guess divisions is the wrong word to use. We have an open and an invitational league. Invitational being quite exclusive, whereas the open to as many teams as we're willing to sign up. As we head our way into Kakariko, these 2 teams belong to the Invitational League at a higher caliber of play.
We did see a shovel in Blind's Hut, which could lead to something, or could be a boring fetch quest that gets us more money or a piece of heart, so we'll see. So far, not a whole lot else. It's going to be interesting to see if we don't see another bomb pack. Saltyphry going to have enough bombs to do everything, and should have enough. May or may not have enough money to do both bombs and the bottle vendor. Julloninja, on the other hand, only one bomb left. So if we don't see another pack for him, he might have to make some choices.
Yeah, and those are some difficult choices to make. In lieu of more bombs, there are at least 10 more rupees available, or maybe 15. I'm sorry, 20 rupees available in the well. I guess 25 if you count that chest.
Yeah. And a mushroom. And we still don't see another bomb pack, so that having used that one bomb might come back to haunt him a little bit. Plus the fact that he did not farm the bush crab for the extra money. So Saltyphry going to be able to buy the 10 arrows at the bottle vendor. Doesn't quite have enough money to buy more bombs, but may just elect to take a chance and not.
Yeah, certainly a chance of a lingering doubt for Julloninja, as it would be unconscionable to think to skip the, having the bombs. But we'll walk past the bottle vendor, as that may be 10 arrows that may grow to frustrate him later.
And he is going to... Yeah, I like this choice to go to the back of the tavern first. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay out. Just a piece of heart.
Yeah, there's certainly a chance you could find bombs or really anything of value there. Oh, wow, look at that shovel.
Wow. That was amazing.
Simply incredible.
One shuffle and gets a 4-bomb spot. That is amazing. So now who is ahead on the bombs? I'd say Julloninja a little bit ahead on the bomb situation.
That chicken is way ahead of his heart grab. Bomb clip. Chickens digging up bombs. This is just incredible.
And we do see a single rupee on the race game, and since Saltyphry has no bombs, he has no choice but to just scout it out first, which is good because he's not going to pick up that rupee. We are going to see the dig spot.
Yeah, traditionally we'd see people save and quit at that point, as that is a bit of walking to avoid, but may as well go check this. There's no better time. You would not benefit from, fluting later, and on top of that, you have a chance to get a bomb.
Yeah, he did get one of those 50-50 bombs, so very good heads-up play to pick that up, and just some arrows. So that shovel, not getting us anything.
Meanwhile, Julloninja continues kicking up dirt, finding a total of 9 bombs leaving Kakariko, offering an extra option for the mini Moldworm Cave, whereas Saltyphry does not have the choice to buy bombs, and may have to put that off.
Yeah, he might choose to go west here and go check Agina's cave, because he only needs the 1 bomb for that. And even if he just managed to get some money or some bombs, then he can kind of reroute to the other stuff after a save and quit. So let's see what's over here at the dam first. Oh, a sword. Actually, the sword helps him out because now he just needs the 1 bomb for mini Moldworm. He can actually use the sword for the rest.
Yeah, getting bailed out under the dam while Julloninja kind of getting bailed out by the shovel, working 2 different directions. We'll see how fast he can use bombs to kill the mini Moldworm, see if there's actually time save involved in the time spent in order to get those bombs. And looking kind of dangerous here.
Yeah, and Julloninja having skipped the dam, so he doesn't have that sword yet.
Now, I'm not one to say that Moldworms of any variety are cooperative, but that is the most unfortunate hitbox I've ever seen.
I've never seen it. It looked like it hit it once. It always hits him twice. That was really bizarre. Let's get 1 more bomb to get this last mini Moldworm. Okay, he does manage to do it. I guess he had 2 more bombs. And we get a bow, simultaneously, Moon Pearl, a flute, and 20 rupees, and 300 rupees. That was a pretty darn good mini Moldworm Cave. Wow. Bow, pearl, flute, all picked up side by side from our runners.
Progressively in unison, they're going to head back to the sanctuary. Julloninja remembering that the mirror actually can save you some time if you don't have the boots yet.
It looks like they're both going to go activate that flute right away. This could send Julloninja back to the dam to get those nice items. Could also send our runners over to the Ice Rod Cave, because they get pretty close to that as well.
Yeah, operating a little more cash flush out of that cave, having a couple more options. Unfortunately, not a lot of good ways to grind money at the moment. So Zora and all of the water walk potentialities really not in play just yet. But the Ice Rod Cave, as you mentioned, definitely a prime one-off location that a flute helps with.
Yeah, I can't see anyone going over to Zor at this point. You don't have enough money for Zor itself. You do have the Moon Pearl. You can get the Waterfall Fairy. Of course, it'd be a sequence break, so the whole thing would be a big sequence break. Get other things to do as well. One more dig from Julloninja. This time just gets a little magic decanter, so I think he's just gonna buy some more bombs.
You truly can't fault his commitment here. Like,
he's gotten pretty. I don't think I've ever seen that much luck from digging. Although we did see I forget the race, but somebody was at 95 rupees and needed to get the bottle vendor, got a 5 rupee spot right away.
Maybe he's pulling a bit of a Babe Ruth, trying to call out the dig game will be something important later.
Okay, we see saltyphry is going to go over to the eastern area. We've already seen Saha on Julloninja side, so the runners will be pretty even up after this. I guess Julloninja hasn't done the dig spot, so we're going to see that from him again. He'll just get some arrows for his trouble. He does decide to pick him up, even though he's got 30.
I find it a little ironic, though, with all the digging he's been doing. This is finally...
I know, right? Okay, now he's going to get his sword, and then we're going to be completely even up, and we'll see... Eastern is a crystal. We can do it with that bow. It is not in logic without a fire source, though.
Yeah, and at this stage of play, I can't imagine that either of these runners fear that, although they may be thinking about it in the back of their minds where the lamp must logically be, given things available to them. There is a chance, of course, that Desert could be boots locked, but fire is required for it, so there's only so many things left for them to be able to do in the overworld at this point.
Okay, and Julloninja going to turn in that mushroom. I like this choice. In early fetch quests, take care of it right away.
I'm almost a little surprised to see neither of them run up to the mountain yet.
Well, that's a hammer. That is important. You're definitely not going to reset that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Unfortunately, it doesn't actually open anything for us. Well, no, it does, because, no, we have the mirror, so it totally opens stuff up. Mirror and hammer getting us over to the east side of Death Mountain, so that's exactly where Julloninja's going to head.
And it ends up being so
open. Yeah, and it is logically open because of the flute. This check that he's doing right now with the old man is not logically open. But everybody does it anyway. It's probably the first dark room to learn, so...
Yeah, not only does it give you an item, but it also gives you a save and quit location, which is actually really handy. A lot of people don't really necessarily put this into their play, but the heal that you get from the old man upon saving and quitting and leaving the cave is actually faster than the sanctuary. So a good thing to keep in mind for those of you at home trying to get faster in your seeds.
Okay, so far we haven't seen anything out of Eastern.
The old man certainly had a lot of feelings, or at least a big full heart over being rescued. Going to give Julloninja a little bit more health to work with. Both of our runners are actually kind of healthy for the early game, with blue mail and 8 and 7 hearts respectively. Not a bad start.
Yeah, and I like both of these plays. I don't know. We'll find out which one ends up being the better play. But on saltyphry's side, the argument is, I have a crystal that I can full clear. Let's just do it. On Julloninja's side, you have the argument, even though Hera is a pendant, he may or may not even go into it. You do have East Death Mountain, which is 8 checks. Plus you have the Old Man and the Spectral Rock items. There's 3 more checks, so there's a whole lot of item density over here.
Yeah, and plus the information. Julloninja getting a map check very briefly. I wasn't able to catch a lot of it, but we do seem to have some 5-6 crystals here in the Dark World. Something to keep in mind as we're considering how we're going to explore the world. And we also have a tablet to check, although we can't actually pick it up. Thankfully, just some cash.
Yeah, and he still doesn't have a sword. He still hasn't gotten to that dam. Oh no, he did get it. Okay, he's got the sword. Never mind.
Yeah, I believe that was right before the mushrooms. So basically on parity with these two, with the equipment, with the exception of the mushroom turn-in for hammer.
We'll see if he even goes on. This will be a small key. You can't go on. No hook shot for Herapot, plus no fire source for the basement means we are locked out of the rest of the dungeon. But it is a pendant dungeon, so maybe we don't care about that. And still not seeing anything interesting over on saltyphry's side at Eastern.
Yeah, so it looks like saltyphry will almost certainly strike first unless some kind of catastrophe happens in the back here with the climb to Armos Knights, we see a Master Sword on the floating island. Certainly something to keep in mind later, although that may turn red depending on the progression of the rest of the seed.
Yeah, the runners sure hope so. I know in the last seed that was just on this channel, the runners never got past Master Sword. I'm sure these two are hoping that isn't a fate that befalls them. And Saltyphry made very quick work with that dark room, so he's past the hard part. He's only got 2 hearts. I supposed to be a little bit careful here, but there are plenty of heart pots coming up that he should be absolutely fine.
Yeah, thankfully plenty of arrows as well. The 16 would otherwise be a bit short, but thanks to all of the arrow drops, I think there's like a good 25 arrows you can get, not counting enemy drops, which are also random.
Yeah, the game's kind of telling you use your bow here if you've never played the game before.
Well, as Saltyphry enters into the Armos fight, or finishes restocking to enter the Armos fight, we'll get to see the Paradox Cave from Julloninja with an Ether Medallion and a little bit of cash here at the bottom. Or the top? Something.
the 2 chests versus the 5 chests.
Greater than or less than symbol? What's the context?
There you go. More money, heart container, more arrows, because we need more of those. Boots, there we go. So there's the main prize here. We got some boots, we got ourselves an ether tablet. Not sure where he's headed now, because he's just gonna flute out of here instead of save and quit. That works. Oh, and a glove sitting there on the desert ledge.
That's a pretty interesting find. Very close to where you'd find it in the vanilla game, basically just outside of its dungeon. Really handy, because if you do find a lamp in here, that does give you access to Lambolas.
But I'd say that boots give Julloninja a bit of an early edge. He's going to be able to go through Eastern a lot faster than Saltyphry did. He's going to be able to go through Desert and get those gloves a lot faster than Saltyphry is right now. But I do suspect that Saltyphry makes his way up the mountain as his next play.
Yeah, I would say the worst case scenario is a sequence here for Saltyphry that would lead him to continue the dungeon and do more things that would keep him away from the mountain, like say somehow finding Dark World access through. Well, I guess this glove plus the hammer that's available to him, he could actually.
Yeah, he could, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's still a good item dense play, but you're right. He could just forego the mountain for now. We did see a single rupee in the 1 chest we can open, so the rest of the desert is boots locked. It is a pendant though, so we may never go back in here again. He's gonna at least check Agina's cave, it looks like. You're over here, you might as well just get that done.
Yeah, there would be never a better opportunity.
Of course, in order for Saltyphry to make use of that Dark World axe, he does need to go and pick up his hammer at the mushroom turn-in.
Yeah, and given that the next logical route for density would be going up the mountain at this point, you would think that now is probably the time to check the mushroom as soon as you've done this cave.
Yep. Unfortunately, just 3 bombs at Agina.
However, with that save and quit, he has an opportunity to potentially save scum the mushroom and maybe even consider a fake powder play later.
Yeah, I like doing the mushroom out of a save and quit for exactly that reason. Not gonna work out. Oh, we haven't seen back of escape yet, so this is a new set of checks. But yeah, he's gonna see that hammer, and obviously he's not gonna reset. Rupees. There's our bottle, and more rupees. So the bottle and lumberjack. Sorry, chat, we're not going to be going for it.
Yeah, so that effectively eliminates all necessity for the castle tower in Aghanim. At this point, there's really no reason you would need the portal, so hopefully there's no reason anybody in this race should think they need to do that.
Okay, we are going to get a quick sick kit check now that we have that bottle. And just rupees. And then we're going to flute away, and let's see if he goes up to Death Mountain, or if he goes... I mean, he could go to Death Mountain right now. Can't get very far without that hammer. Okay, he's going to turn in that mushroom. And then we'll see if he decides to go into the Dark World or if he decides to do Death Mountain. I mean, to his point of view, both are good choices. Unfortunately, we know those boots are sitting there on East Death Mountain, and he might not get them for a while if he just decides to go straight to the Dark World.
Yeah, because as of now, it's basically about a 5 or so minute difference in the boots collection, maybe almost as much as 10. Oh no.
Yep, he's gonna go. I mean, he might find some good stuff. Hype Cave does have 5 items. But there's a lot he can do now that he has Dark World access, so it might be a while before he gets back up to the mountain.
Well, we'll see also as well if Julloninja can make the most out of those boots. Boots, of course, being a nice advantage in really any situation, going from about an average of 1.5 pixel per frame to 4 pixels per frame when fully charged, is quite the boon to your overall time. However, if you're inefficient with your movements, it doesn't do a whole lot for you. Looking like Julloninja really is putting it to good use, going all the way to Ice Rat Cave in just a mere moment or so.
Yeah, it's a good choice. This is one of our last Sphere 1 checks. Not a whole lot in Hype Cave, just some money and some pieces of heart mostly. It looks like he's going to do a water walk to the Zora area.
And as Julloninja does the sequence break, sans the flippers, that does put saltyphry in a good financial position to be doing things like Zora, and actually with the gloves, has logical means to access that, so that may be a consideration if the Dark World exploration or voyage here yields very little.
Ooh, and a Bombo sitting there on Lake Hylia Island that we may or may not need. Could need it for Ice Palace, or could need it for Misery Mire or Turtle Rock.
The worst part about finding that right outside Ice Palace is you're not going to know if you need it for Ice Palace until very late.
Yeah. And just bombs on the pyramid for saltyphry. And I think we're going to get an escape play. That's true. We have not seen the escape at all. This really surprises me. He's got Dark World access. He's got East Death Mountain access. A little surprised he does the escape as the third choice.
To me, this seems like a play against what you expect your opponent to do. They both... Well, he obviously doesn't know that his opponent also went Uncle Start, but the Uncle Start only yielded 3 bombs. And there would not be a better opportunity to be doing this when you have so many other things on the table. This might be expecting Julloninja just to not check this area.
Now, if we find something good here, it might be a while before Julloninja gets here, so he could score something out of here. See bombs and more bombs at the Waterfall Ferry, so nothing there.
I was very surprised to see saltyphry not kill the blue key guard. That is one key he will not have for the back half. Not strictly necessary, but an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, you skip one of these keys because he's already done the back. He'll have to get this key. I think it's a little bit more efficient to skip this key, but, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen the other is not that big a difference. And let's see what Zora has for us. Just a nice life lesson as we get 20 rupees back on our 500 rupee investment. So Zora play, nothing there. Yeah, let's see where Julloninja. He still needs to get over to Desert to find his glove.
Yeah, we've had that book available for quite a while.
Saltyphry with 100 rupees. Gonna do Dark Cross because we have seen both key and map. So one more chance for saltyphry to score something out of this play. Julloninja choosing to check Bonk Rocks and getting nothing for it. He's going to get gated to Desert, though, a lot faster than saltyphry is going to get gated to East Death Mountain. But saltyphry looks like... Oh, yeah, he's in Dark Cross. Get my dark rooms mixed up for a second.
You know, it's easy to expect that, though. I mean, you can't really see anything in there anyway.
And Julloninja sees that bottle. He does not know that there's another one available yet, so he's hoping that's not the next progression. But he's going to find what he needs right here in just a second, so he'll know he doesn't have to worry about it.
And there's a lamp in Dark Cross.
Wow. You don't see that every day. That's shout outs to the new logic. Well, I guess it's not even new. It's over a year old. But V31 logic, where lamps can be behind fire rods if you have torches.
I've encountered it recently, but it is truly something that just makes you scratch your head. You're like, wait, what? It is really interesting for the logic, though, because this means that the fire rod is our only fire until we would have... I mean, we would need to basically have a fire rod to get in there, and that will tell us more things about the seed later.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see it on Julloninja's side, because we obviously didn't get to see the rest of Desert earlier because saltyphry did not have the boots. Julloninja has those boots and is making good use of them, picking up that big key. And we are going to get a catfish check over here from saltyphry.
Now, ordinarily, this would feel like a pretty bad check to be doing at any point of the game. However, we do have the opportunity to chain this in with Zora and potentially do something like a splash delete to get the Zora ledge. So some options available to us here.
Okay, Julloninja going to pick up his glove. I didn't even see what was thrown out of there, but obviously it wasn't anything to saltyphry because he just feared right away.
It was about enough money to buy a pizza or two. Now, if you could buy a Pizza Hut for that amount of money, I think people would actually take that exchange. Speaking of which...
Okay, let's see what's on this right side of Desert. Okay, looks like Landmo has an item. And we have 5 rupees. So Desert mostly there for our gloves. And let's see where saltyphry heads next. See if maybe that lamp might incentivize him to do the Death Mountain play.
Yeah, it certainly makes all of that a lot easier to deal with. However, that will be a trip over to Village of Outcasts, it would appear.
Which is understandable. He does have a full clearable Thieves Town in front of him.
And despite not having the best firepower available to us, well, only a lamp when we talk about firepower, but as far as swords go, I mean, a fighter sword doesn't do much for you or against you in that dungeon. If anything, with the boss, it's a little bit less reach.
Oh, are we getting a ped check? We are getting a ped check.
That's pretty spicy. And he's got his book out. This is romance novel spicy right now.
Just couch cash. Never mind.
About as exciting as a romance novel. Let's be real.
Sounds about right.
Well, out of the forest we go. Actually going to walk our way all the way down to the portal. So it looks like this was just a continuation of the inevitable Village of Outcasts. And is Julloninja also? No, Julloninja is going to wait until potentially, Skullwoods to check it, or might not even bother at all.
Looks like he's going to head over to Skullwoods, in fact. Actually, it looks like they're both going to head over to Skullwoods. A lot of people like to compare Skullwoods to being like an overworld check. I don't really agree with that, since there's so often so many small keys, and three small keys you don't really even need. Actually, Julloninja just going to do some of the north checks, it looks like. I'm going to check Bumper Ledge and possibly Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb.
I'm with you, though, on the Skullwoods argument. There's just a lot of time you can end up sinking into this dungeon, which, I mean, it can be a valid choice, but I don't know if I compare it to Overworld myself.
Yeah, I also don't like the play to fall in anymore, since we no longer have the guaranteed small key in the pinball room. Of course, since that first check was not a small key, we do have 3 shots at getting a small key. Really good chance he's going to find one, but no guarantees. If you don't find a small key, all you can do is save and quit out of here. Meanwhile, Graveyard Ledge is going to give us something. And it is a heart container, so good enough to pick up, but not really what you want to, not really what you're looking for. And we do see saltyphry with 2 small keys, so he'll be fine now. And in fact, 3 small keys. All the small keys.
Well, on the bright side, I mean, there's a pretty good chance that everything going forward is something of value, or at least to the dungeon.
Kings 2 with just some bombs, so our boots check's not giving us anything. Ironically, this could still be a non-boots required siege. So far, we're not seeing anything required from those boots because Desert is a pendant, and all we got out of there was 5 rupees.
I'm really liking the bonk that Julloninja did against the King's Tomb to go over the portal and actually save some of the time traversing around the Dark World equivalent. Little tiny optimizations plus boots. I'm really taking advantage, full advantage, of having some dashy shoes.
Yeah, those boots, the boots are just going to give Julloninja a bigger and bigger lead as long as saltyphry avoids that East Death Mountain play. I'm just going to keep growing that way, and even if the boots don't end up not being required, saltyphry is going to have to find something in a bad spot, I think, to have any kind of chance to catch up here. Like even this check with the Graveyard Ledge, it's a much longer trip around to get to that ledge because you can't bonk those rocks.
I would even argue agonizing. It is simply the most roundabout of roundabout turns.
It really is. And we see a hook shot in the first chest of Thieves Town, so definitely want to get that. Is required since we do have to do Swamp Palace.
Additionally, this is one of our 5/6 crystals, so Instinct's proving to be pretty good here for Julloninja. I'm going to walk around to the 3rd chest after finding that big key.
And saltyphry says no to the heart container.
You know, it's a crying shame, because like you spend all the time to get up there. I mean, you may as well take the extra safety.
Yeah, I would definitely take that extra safety, but every second counts. And a bow! Oh my god. Crystal Thieves Town with 2 good items in the front. That just doesn't happen.
Conventional logic would expect otherwise. However, with that key, we know exactly what we're going to have to do in the back half. We'll still check all the chests until we know that there's literally nothing left, being that there is that gambit between the big chest and the boss. But we have full access to everything, which is a nice relief.
Now, the one nice thing is if saltyphry, he'll get that hook shot, and maybe that'll finally lead him over to East Death Mountain.
It also offers saltyphry a bit of a movement advantage, working back in his favor, as the hookshot can kind of help you when you don't have the boots to save at least small amounts of time.
Absolutely. Checking the C-shape helps and getting a hurt piece out of it.
So looking at logical next steps, you would think that the next step for both of these runners is, well, I guess either saltyphry going up the mountain, or more likely, I think both of them are probably heading south out of Village of Outcasts. There's a bit of a loop that they can do.
We find mitts in the chest game. So that if that doesn't get saltyphry over to the East Death Mountain, because that also gives them Dark Death Mountain, that combined with the hookshot, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and I think the hookshot is what's going to send him over the edge. Probably still just going to finish Thieves Town while you're here. Of course you would.
Absolutely.
Having the ability to literally do everything up there, definitely a good feeling, but won't feel great about Paradox Cave, I can't imagine. Now, I don't recall the flute jingle being part of the dungeon theme, but Julloninja has different opinions.
Well, he had it on there, and just decided to spam it a little bit.
One of the best things about Quick Swap, in my opinion, you can do that and it doesn't lose you time.
Kane! What is this Crystal Thieves Town? I've never seen a Crystal Thieves Town with 3 legit needed items.
Well, with that item, he Kane finished the dungeon as well.
He sure Kane.
On top of that compass will be pretty much everything. I think that makes it a map on blind, unless I'm miscounting items. But that will be one of our 5/6, and the list of things that we could potentially find behind that crystal kind of shrinking. As you mentioned, quite a boon in this dungeon. Surely, replete with items at this point. Will be a boss fight as they nearly high five.
So what do we even need this? We need flippers because we need to do swamp. We need both fire rod and ice rod for Turtle Rock. And of course, goal was need that fire rod as well. Fire rod also get us into Ice Palace, so we're kind of rod and flipper mode at this point. And we know that fire rod's got to be a pretty early check. I mean, well, I guess it doesn't. That's not entirely true. We know the lamp is behind the fire rod, so that fire rod. It's gonna be interesting to see where that thing pops up.
Yeah, so that is one potential advantage for saltyphry here, as Julloninja, the Immortals, does not know about that lamp yet, and that lamp is critical information because of that fire rod, as we talked about before, and you just mentioned. So Tracy, I think that may end up being his ticket to finding a way through to a win here, because otherwise that boots advantage, like we talked about before, is going to be nearly insurmountable.
Okay, Julloninja gonna finish up the Village of Outcast checks. See if he chooses to do any of the Smith chain. It's not too bad with their loadout. They've got flute, mirror, everything they could need. Probably do the dig game first, though. If he does decide to come back, he'll come back after that.
Well, surely this is what Julloninja has been preparing his entire race for. I mean, after all, we saw such a spectacle of the digs.
There you go.
If this isn't progressive, then pie on his face, I guess. Or egg, whatever the metaphor is. The simile? I don't know.
Just arrows. Let's see which way he goes now. Yeah, he's gonna do Smiths right now.
Julloninja hoping for a hefty haul, only with one fighter sword available to him. We, of course, do know about the Master Sword up on the floating island, but I think both of these runners would prefer to have something a little bit more tempered.
Yeah, and that might send Julloninja up there to the mountain. At this point, if I were him, I'd want to at least know the Turtle Rock and the Misery Mire medallion requirements, see if I have it, see if I have to search for it, see exactly what my go mode is. So I could see both of these runners getting back to that east side of the mountain, Julloninja just for the dark part. Also going to want to see them flute to Misery Mire just to see what that medallion requirement is.
Yeah, and this truly opens up everything in that area as well. I mean, we do, of course, need the boots from Paradox Cave for saltyphry to finish that all up, but I mean, pretty much everything else there.
Yeah, the only thing they really can't do right now is Spike Cave. Julloninja close to enough hearts. I think it's about 14 if you want to do it without any kind of safeties. Not having a bottle would not be able to extend his magic at all, or extend his life, because he doesn't have the items that you would need for the magic. He's going to drag this purple chest, at least up till Cave 45, where he can mirror. Then we'll probably abandon it and do the nice little trick that says, hey, if you mirror next to the guy that opens the chest, he thinks you still have it.
Because this game definitely knows when you have a follower. I mean, after all, who hasn't gone to the shovel guy?
Yeah, the shovel guy does not like followers, so.
Really insists on being a leader in his craft. But I think we'll actually drag this all the way through. Looks like we're not going to abandon. I'm surprised by that myself.
You did check the dig spots, so there's no reason to mirror here. Now, in saltyphry's case, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have boots. Oh, there we go. There's the abandonment, the purple chest.
Poor purple chest just wants to be included.
And he might take this all the way over to Bombo's tablet. Even though we can't get the item, we can at least see what it is.
Yeah, and despite the screen transitions costing some time, I think it's a worthwhile scout. There's not a lot of better opportunities besides maybe Swamp Palace, and we currently can't do that. You know, getting an interesting point in chat about how leaving the purple chest there gives Stumpy a companion for all eternity, and you know what? I'm here for that. That's the kind of positivity we need in this chat.
And it's just arrows, so we're not going to come back for that. Saltyphry, meanwhile, is going to do the slow version of this with the hammer pegs. No item dashing for him.
I feel like this is the sort of check that without boots makes you wonder, where are those boots? I need to know ASAP. Like, that just feels shameful, even if, you can't, help where they are.
And Julloninja gonna check out his hype cave, and probably gonna be disappointed that nothing is in here.
Well, as we have our runners going through a couple of overlapping checks here, folks, if you haven't had a chance to check out these two runners on their own personal Twitch streams, highly recommend it. We'll post a link in the chat. Give these two a follow. They're definitely racers to watch for the rest of the league, as well as checking out the rest of the speed gaming channels and the Link to the Past Randomizer League channels to catch the rest of the, well, I would say tournament action, the league action for the remaining 5 weeks. This is the last race of the week for open mode. Next week, we have casual boots starting up tomorrow. And
here we go with the bomb. We've done 2 crystal dungeons, and they are the 5/6. So no surprise here that Julloninja goes ahead and grabs that bomb. And it'll be interesting to see if he decides to do some of the escape at the same time, because he's been routing everything in very nicely and efficiently. He could alternatively go over to Pod, although Pod being a pendant may want to avoid that. Does have better options, I think.
Yeah, the window is kind of opening up for things you can do. We've found so many items so fast that it can be very easy to kind of forget some of these things. And is that a duplicate timer?
I'm not sure. Arrows and bombs. Okay, well, early Pyramid Fairy not paying off for anything.
Yeah, I'm actually... oh, wait, we don't have a bottle yet on this side, so you can't even check to see what the reward is.
Okay, so it looks like he is going to do escape right now. Interesting choice. We're back down to Sphere 1 for Julloninja. I still want to. I still feel like going over to Dark Death Mountain and or to Misery Mire, in whichever order you choose, just to find out. Nothing else to get those medallion requirements, just to figure out how close you are to that go mode, because we are pretty darn close at this point.
Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up, as these dungeons, just like we saw with Thieves Town, can have literally everything we need. And once you know, you want to be able to just go.
I mean, I'm sure Julloninja will be happy to get that lamp, but it's not the one he wants. Really, you want that fire rod.
Well, I don't know about butter. Nah, dumb joke. But, I think they both are pretty eager to find, more weaponry to work with. As we mentioned before, both rods, the flipper is not quite a weapon, but aquatic means transportation. The sword, though, there is a master sword out there, but they want more.
Okay, saltyphry, check in the Mire area. Does find out that he needs Quake to get into Mire, so we're not going to be able to go into there right now. Which is fine, because considering the loadout they have right now, not a very good loadout. Oh, and there's our Master Sword, so once saltyphry heads over to the mountain, he will be able to get to a Tempered Sword on that floating island.
All right, well, combat advantage here about 42 minutes in for saltyphry will help with a lot of boss strats. Fighter Sword, not a fun place to be finishing dungeons with.
Okay, and Julloninja not going to do Dark Cross. And I don't know about you, I miss where those silvers were, because I see both runners with them.
I believe we found it in Thieves Town, right?
Oh, that was our second bow, that's right. Gotcha.
Yeah, the first in Mini Moldorm Cave.
The first one was in Mini Moldorm Cave, which led us to Eastern, and so now we have... Okay, that makes sense. Julloninja not going to get his lamp. I don't think he's getting his lamp, because we know the fire rod can't be behind it. So he'll find the fire rod wherever it is, and he will be lampless. Not too big a deal. He'll have to do those couple extra dark rooms. Runners of this caliber typically don't have trouble with those dark rooms, so it shouldn't make a huge difference.
Yeah, the rooms themselves, hopefully not a big deal, and generally not, but the information from them, I'm very curious at this point where we're going to find this fire rod. It'll tell us pretty much everything else we need to know.
Okay, saltyphry finally going over to Death Mountain. He's probably going to feel pretty far behind when he sees those boots, which is unfortunate, but we might score some other good stuff here.
All right, both of them back up the mountain. Time to finish our exploration, or to start our exploration in terms of saltyphry. Saltyphry going to be able to chain everything together. which is definitely a nice advantage of this route.
And in the end, he's not that far behind. They've both done 2 crystals. It's really going to come down to whether saltyphry can stay out of some of the checks that Julloninja's done. So it's going to take a little bit longer because he's going to have to go through and do both the dark and light world stuff. You know, we do have an ice rod potentially on our hands, and those can be great equalizers.
Yeah, because I mean, information at this point may be the one thing that allows saltyphry to completely ignore all those checks that you're mentioning. They have overlapped quite a few of the overworld checks, but if it's just the dungeons and he's got his boots pretty much in this cave, this might not be as far apart as initially it looked.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're going to see Super Bunny on Julloninja's side. And so far, nothing. Now we're going to see Hookshot Cave. Unfortunately, saltyphry not quite getting the hookshot clip on the second set of blocks. It's a much more difficult one than the first one, and he'll have to go up the long way. We do see 20 rupees. Red mail, a nice safety. Arrows. And 300 rupees. And I gotta believe that Julloninja is gonna go ahead and pick up that, what it's for him, a Master Sword.
Yeah, so assuming that Julloninja doesn't somehow forget the mire shed, we're looking at tempered silvers, potentially gold at some point, red mail with more than 10 hearts. This is a very comfortable place to be finishing out the rest of the seed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't imagine either of these two are going to have a combat difficulty here. Looking like a bit of an ether check for Julloninja, or perhaps the rest of Hera.
I thought he checked ether.
Oh, that's right. It was Couch Cash.
Yeah, he is going to do Hera. I don't love that choice. I'm trying to think what we have available. So we can't do Ice Palace. No, we can't do Ice Palace until we get flippers, unless you want a sequence break. You could do a water walk onto where the Lake Hylia Island is. You cannot mirror with fake flippers. that does not work. But you could do a water walk to get the bombos and totally sequence break Ice Palace. I can't see them doing that. I can't do Swamp because no flippers. Still can't finish Skull Woods. We did see some of it already. And I can't do Misery Mire without a Quake, so I guess we're kind of running out of nice options. And hence we have Julloninja here in Tower of Hera.
Yeah, being a pendant, it doesn't feel good, but Hera Pod does allow us to get up to the top very quickly and at least get one more item. Unfortunately, just the 20 rupees. But that is information nonetheless, and I imagine a relatively quick Moldorm fight if we use that hammer.
Yeah, and we do see, I'm going to point out that Turtle Rock with that Bombos medallion required, we are going to have to eventually go get that Bombos on Lake Hylia Island, regardless of Ice Palace.
Yeah, as a chat pointing out, this opens up some nasty possibilities. It's not unheard of for you to be able to go further into Turtle Rock without the Fire Rod, and that does make everything all the way up until Laser Bridge.
Yeah, apparently there was a seed this week where Fire Rod and Ice Rod were on Laser Bridge. I myself commentated a seed where the runners were able to get all the way down to Laser Bridge and pick up a hook shot without a Fire Rod. One runner did do that. The other one got it much later.
I just feel pain and misery echoing out from the League Racers.
Yep. We do still need those flippers to put that Bombos in Logic.
Well, hey, anything's better.
Saltyphry also gonna go ahead and do Tower of Hera.
Yeah, and it's the right time to do it. I mean, you have everything you need. No better opportunity. Now, whether or not Saltyphry opts to grab the big key and actually check the big chest up top, I don't think we might have left an item in there, I think.
Now, saltyphry just checking one item is deciding not to finish up Hera.
Yeah, and as best as we know now, since he already knows the pedestal is nothing, probably a wise choice. Could reflect one of those time saves that we were talking about earlier. There's a lot of time that Julloninja spent in there between the two trips.
Yeah, I do like Julloninja's choice to go into pod. At this point, it's probably the most item-dense choice. Could find a fire rod here. But it won't be in it won't be in the rupee basement because you need to have a fire source to get through that. But there's plenty of non-dark rooms in pod that it could be in.
Yeah, opposite of the name would be suggesting to us. The Palace of Darkness actually has a fair number of lights.
Yeah.
Well, as we're seeing the rest of Palace of Darkness's front side, we'll get the King's Tomb, the back of King's Tomb.
Yeah, we saw this already, but it's just, I guess, it's just bombs. Move along.
Which, if I recall correctly, saltyphry did do the graveyard ledge, not having boots having to go a long way. So this seems like due diligence over the boots, making sure that this didn't end up leading to some massive disadvantage. Which may end up being even more information useful to saltyphry to try and get back into this.
And we see all the keys in pod, because there has to be 4 small keys in the first 6. And since we did see 4, looks like there is a possibility big key chest might have something for us. So Julloninja gonna go ahead and make sure he checks that, make sure it's not map or compass. Or a 5th key. Okay, saltyphry looks like he's gonna do his pyramid fairy check. And it is a small key in there. Unfortunate key for a key.
Yeah, so only a limited number of things available left. Julloninja not having the lamp will have to either decide to forego those dark rooms, because, I mean, those are probably some of the more difficult dark rooms, at least the ones on the maze side. But if he opts to do them, you're not going to find a fire rod in there. Only so many things that can be useful.
Could find an ice rod there. Could find flippers there.
Yeah, and that would be the big thing for Julloninja at this point. But I mean, Palace of Darkness, that's never empty, right? Today, we're going to find here in the dark a key. We're running out of those. I think there's one more, you said?
I think that's all of them. Yeah, that's all of them.
Short of the big key.
Which is in there, too. Oh, and a nice, get a blue potion out of the pyramid fairy. That's actually really nice, just in case things go wrong in your Ganon fight. You just go right pop in there and get yourself another blue potion.
Yeah, Julloninja still hasn't picked up any bottles, actually. Interestingly enough, if we were to believe the tracker here.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Which would explain why he didn't check that earlier with Pyramid Fairy. Big shout-outs as well to our tracker today, Duodeca. Thanks for pushing on the buttons and keeping us on point.
Yeah, doing the hard work behind the scenes while we just get to just talk and watch. As we see Julloninja going through that dark maze.
The bug net there almost feeling like a bit of mockery. Probably not as bad as the 20 rupees, though.
I know, at least I can spend the 20 rupees. I'm
Fair
not
point.
a bug net fan. And what do you get out of it? We got a fetch quest. Oh, baby. Although, at least the powder has other uses.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan. I really think that powder is the strongest safety in the game. For how many anti-fairies and bunny beams are out there. And of course, you do get the one item location check out of it. But very handy. It really saves your bacon when you're
Yeah,
up against bacon.
it is especially strong in the worst dungeons. It's getting to the certain parts of Turtle Rock, certain parts of Misery Mire, and the top of GT.
However,
and
that
to
one
go
check.
ahead and turn it in right away.
Yeah, catching a whiff of what the powder will hopefully lead to him, showing a bit of excitement here as he's using it to check out the bat. This is the only location available because of this item. oft forgotten in a lot of people's first playthroughs.
Oh, just a single arrow. So I'm trying to think what we have left at this point. We are fast running out of locations here. Julloninja hasn't done the back of escapes. He's gonna do that now. We'll see if he follows the back of escape to go to the Dark Cross from the backside. I think it's a slightly more difficult trip than from the front side, but again, these guys should be more than capable of doing it. There's that bottle you were talking about. That's why he didn't have one. He hadn't done the back of escape.
Yeah, so I mean, besides having the lamp to finish Palace of Darkness, as you mentioned, not a whole lot of things left on the slate. We could do Desert Palace. That gives us a green pendant to turn in. And yeah, we're running real short on things beyond that. There is that legendary Turtle Rock play.
We can't get into Turtle Rock until we find flippers, though.
Oh, right. So flippers in one of these one or two locations left actually sort of feels likely at this point.
Yeah, flippers need to show up soon. The fire rod really opens up logically. Doesn't open up anything for us except that lamp, because we do need the fire rod. I mean, it will get us into Ice Palace, but we need logically, we need flippers for it. And you know, if Swamp Palace was a pendant, then you just ignore that because fake flippering gets you into Ice Palace just fine. But we do eventually need flippers, so I can't imagine doing quite the sequence breaking you'd have to do to get around that.
Yeah, as it is kind of arduous. I mean, short of a fairy revival or a very exotic water walk. Well, I guess if we do find that fire rod, that leaves the items that we couldn't find in Skull Woods as well. Chat pointed out that the big chest seems like a likely location, but I mean, just as likely as under the bridge.
Yeah, I think we saw one item in Skull Woods. Is that correct?
I know we saw 3 keys.
Yeah, we definitely saw 3 keys. Okay, Julloninja now gonna do pet check.
Probably the best last remaining opportunity to check it, as he's likely to start heading into these remaining pendants. Well, I mean, the remaining pendant, desert.
Yeah, I think that's where you gotta head now.
On the other hand, saltyphry taking great advantage of that lamp to really clear through that maze very fast, taking back some of the time lost from Boots earlier by simply being able to dash.
Okay, and saltyphry also gonna leave with that powder. Now Julloninja into the mire area for the first time. Gonna get that tempered sword. And saltyphry hasn't checked Ice Rod Cave yet, so love these late sphere ones.
Yeah, this is a surprisingly common play from a lot of runners at a higher caliber. I mean, you kind of want to isolate the longest checks to take, and this is definitely one of the slower ones. Not quite as bad as Catfish, per se, but certainly one that people leave until way later.
Oh, looks like saltyphry also going to finish doing the rest of the Zora area with a water walk.
I find the timing of this kind of interesting, as you know that it's going to be like flippers in an unusual or weird place. So this is really exclusively for information in the hope that you fish out something out of the water that's really excellent.
I mean, at this point, we need a fire rod and we need an ice rod, and those two can be in a lot of places, especially that ice rod. But it seems like such a low percentage play when the next progression item always has to be flippers.
Well, Lamola's here either going to give us an item if I've miscounted, or at least the green pendant to have an old man give us an item. So Hasvril has been sitting there patiently waiting with his book in his closet, or at least trying to read something in his book.
And this is a new check. We have not seen the hobo yet.
No, I think we did, actually. We saw a fake flipper out of here from Julloninja.
Ah, gotcha. Well, either way, it's nothing.
So that means both of them have finished their water check, sans the flippers.
Okay, let's see where saltyphry heads next. Probably desert, I guess. And what is that green pendant gonna give us? No, saltyphry not heading towards desert. Oh, right, he's gonna turn in that powder first.
Unfortunately, already at 30 arrows, so just insult the injury. And a quick hop and a skip and a yellowish goldish guard, thanks to some palette weirdness. Julloninja going to find out what we have behind the green pendant. Surely one of the elusive progressive items, unless we're completely forgetting a very obvious place.
Okay, piece of heart. Is there an item still in Hera?
I don't believe either opened up the big chest. That is definitely a thing. If the items are to be counted that way, yeah.
Chat asking if Spike Cave's in Logic. Not until we get a cane or a cape. Granted, they could get it right now. And, you know, the cane or a cape, you know, not needed for anything else. And we see both runners going over to back towards Skull Woods. Did we not see the middle chest here? I guess no one did the middle.
Yeah, so this could either be an item or the big key to give us an item.
If this is the answer.
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt everything.
It's the flippers. Oh, wow. Wow, they both did the rest of Skullwoods. Actually, is that even true? I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure if saltyphry ever went into the front part.
Yeah, I believe they've both done the entire front of it. So, I mean, like, an entire hour in, they're actually synced up together with the same required dungeons done.
Yeah, the biggest difference, saltyphry has stayed out of desert, which has allowed him to catch up back a little bit. So if saltyphry can completely stay out of desert, that'll be good. Right now, they're both going to run, get their bombos, and probably head into Ice Palace with that bombos.
Yeah, the only other alternative available to them that makes sense would be Swamp, and I think you really do go get that bombos. However, maybe they are going to do Swamp first. Maybe looking for the density to get Fire Rod.
I prefer the ice play first for a couple. I mean, obviously you'd rather go into Ice Palace with the Fire Rod, but with the Cane of Samaria and the Icebreaker, it has become such a fast dungeon to full clear. Swamp is still slow. Even with Diver Down, Swamp is still slow. And yeah, it's more checks, but you know, if you go through ice already and you're going into Swamp, and maybe you get one of the items you need in Ice Palace, and maybe you're missing the other, it kind of makes the decision whether to do left side a little bit easier, depending on what you've already gotten out of Ice Palace. So you know, for the runners, it's good they're both going into Swamp and not both, you know, well, I mean, Diverging Paths would be good too, but the fact they're both going into Swamp is going to keep this race close, which is really nice.
Yeah, and despite all of the ups and downs, dashes and lack thereof, I mean, this is really neck and neck, as close as it gets for an hour in.
Yeah, I mean, an hour and two in, and we're really close, despite that early boots advantage that Julloninja had. saltyphry being able to avoid some of the checks that Julloninja could not, and that's put us back pretty darn even.
Truly showing and illustrating the advantage the boots gives you is that you can give 2 dungeon completions. Obviously, you know, Salty did dip into Hera for like a good 10 seconds, but
yeah,
I mean, still, all the way up the tower, been in there twice, you know, and having finished Desert, Julloninja in step with saltyphry at this point really speaks to the difference of boots. Well, it's all skill execution and maybe a couple of gut check decisions remaining, as these two are hoping to lock it in 2-2 for their team, the other 1-4 to conclude week 2 here. This is really exciting.
3.
Yeah, that's a number.
But it'll be interesting to see if either one decides to do diver down to get to the left side ahead of time, or if either one will go to the back. We see a lot more plays going to the left side first since diver down became a thing. Cape, a nice item. Okay, we do see a little bit of divergence. Julloninja gonna do the left side first. saltyphry gonna put it off. I kind of like the decision to put it off since we've seen neither map nor compass. You hate to go to the left side and find a map and a compass if you're doing it first. Looks like saltyphry isn't even going to do the diver down, so that might be part of the reason he's going to go to the back first. He has not learned the strat yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do the back first.
Yeah, it could be any number of reasons why someone doesn't feel comfortable doing it in the moment. We're seeing a nifty thing from Julloninja here, going to use the bomb explosion, walk back through the door to get the switch flipped, an extra little bit of the tech, and there's the ice rod.
Nice. We unfortunately do see the map, so there is going to be at least one item over here on the left side. And saltyphry is going to have to make a decision at the end of the dungeon, unless we happen to see that fire rod before then. Nope, now we're going to get 2 items in the back on the left side.
Yeah, so it could be really gutsy for Salty at this point. You know, let's just say there's nothing here on the left. saltyphry decides to go to ice instead of coming back in. That could be a game changer. That could be something that really pulls him ahead.
We do see a heart container. And 5 rupees. So saltyphry chooses not to go back in. It'll definitely be to his advantage, but it's 2 items, so it's going to be a tough call on his part.
For what it's worth, Julloninja really making the most out of diver down to try and save time here on the left side. So if saltyphry does actually go back in, there's potentially another diver down to save time with. Would reflect probably the difference, assuming saltyphry comes back in.
Yeah, you can't really do diver down to get to the left side afterwards anyway, and so he's gonna have to make that decision in just a second. Julloninja gonna get his ice rod. Also, shoutouts to find the ice rod before the fire rod. So, fire rod hunt is not fun, but it's not as bad as the ice rod hunt. And saltyphry says, "Nope, I am not going back into that left side swamp," and that will give him a bit of a lead here.
Yeah, truly a big decision for this seed. Now, if this fire rod remains elusive, that could also be a pitfall. So, remains to be seen if we see that again, the Swamp Palace. But for now, saltyphry taking a bit of an advantage.
Well, it's not uncommon to find a fire rod in Ice Palace behind Bombos. We've all seen that before. So, I like saltyphry's choice to just go ahead and grab that Bombos, go into Ice Palace.
You would think it'd be against conventional wisdom that fire would follow explosions, or maybe that is how it works. I'm not a physicist. Alright, another Argus fight here coming up for Julloninja. saltyphry doing a similar slash strat as Julloninja is here, so there shouldn't be too much of a time difference, probably the same number of cycles. Great placement of a silver arrow. That is Argus down for Julloninja as we see saltyphry representing Waffle House drive-thru. Finding a map here in the Pengator room, going to continue onwards. We'll see if we end up seeing a icebreaker, seeing as we didn't see a diver down. saltyphry being, as we mentioned before, a new transplant to the league this season, may rely on different tech in general, but it looks like he's heading back to hit the switch at minimum.
Yeah, we'll see, because in Go mode, you always want to hit this switch. If you looks like he's not learned this tech either. Definitely a bigger deal, not knowing the... In Go mode, the difference is actually pretty minimal, but this is not Go mode. He's going to need to check all these. And so Julloninja is going to be able to catch up a little bit by being able to do that icebreaker. So yeah, definitely a tech you want to learn if you haven't already. It's a lot a bigger time save than the diver down that we saw over in it's not even doing the bomb jump. That okay. I mean, you don't need to technically. I mean, the dungeon is set up like the bomb jump is still a sequence break, but just a little bit surprised.
Yeah, and I would argue that, if you're already expecting the full clear, it kind of, you could save some time not doing it. I can understand why he would make that choice. But I mean, yeah, Icebreaker, I feel like is probably a lot easier to learn than Diver Down. For those of you out there who are trying to, advance your game a bit, definitely one to pick up more than anything. It's almost as ubiquitous at this point as the Ice Palace Bomb Jump was originally. So definitely a must-know. But maybe, saltyphry ends up finding that fire rod first just because of the route of this.
Well,
And
we're
the timing.
still also missing that Quake. So he's not going to be able to get one item and be done. I can't imagine. Ice Palace having both items would be pretty amazing.
I mean, what is this, Thieves Town?
Yeah, I know, right? That Thieves Town. Well, we do see a gold sword, so there you go. We are now completely decked out offensively in terms of the Ganon fight.
And yet again, a high five opportunity here. Maybe through the wall. Not quite a high five.
But that's most of what saltyphry's lead was coming out of Swamp Palace, unfortunately. Julloninja's just a room behind him now.
Well, a little bit less time spent for the iced tea room, perhaps. Saltyphry does have the same equipment to work with. And we're still looking for that Quake, as you mentioned. So even if we do find that fire rod, that won't be it. That won't be it for the dungeon. They're going to full clear this regardless.
Yeah, I think at this point, if Ice Palace has the Quake, then you just go over to Mire, which you'll be able to complete. Oh, and saltyphry trying to do a bomb jump and falls in the hole. And it's just going to go around this way, which actually isn't that bad because he didn't hit the switch. But if you find a fire rod, then you go into TR. Now, if you find neither, I guess you go into Turtle Rock and see if the first chest has something for us.
Certainly the mightiest of oofs.
We're going to hit Ice Tea at about the same time and get a big key. So the last two items, I think we've only seen the one item with the sword. So the other two items, one in the big chest, the other one on Cold Stare itself.
Kind of hilarious that they go to Ice Tea, sort of high five, and then go in different directions.
I know, completely different routing to get there. And there's the fire rod. Wow.
Saltyphry strikes first.
Okay, we are gonna have to. Yeah, saltyphry will have to go a little bit further. He won't be able to use that block. But fortunately, he's got a Canis Samaria, so he'll be able to get to the back pretty easily. We're gonna hit Cold Stare at about the same time.
Two completely different methods of hitting the switch.
Wow, after all that, we are hitting Cold Stare at the same time.
Oh,
and
no.
saltyphry using his bomb was a little bit early. I can't help but wonder if that was a quick swap error.
Almost assuredly. I mean, I don't think he really needed the drops from the
No.
from the berries.
Thankfully, Bombos doesn't take up that much magic, and he does have enough to use it. But it does give Julloninja a chance to take the lead again. And the third item is here on the boss, as expected. We are still looking for a Quake medallion, which at this point, I guess, most likely is sitting there in Turtle Rock for us.
Yeah, and as this race paradoxically heats up here in Ice Palace, not a lot of other places left to go. They have really scoured Hyrule for this for this Quake medallion, and they're hoping to shake things up if they do find it.
And we do have a cape now, so that Spike Cave is in logic. Julloninja gonna go ahead and finish up Skullwoods. Yeah, I think that's just fine. I mean, ideally, we did find the flippers in there. I think there may still be one more item in there. If there is, it's definitely worth doing this first. If there isn't, then it's kind of like, do you do it now? Do you do it later? At some point, you've got to do it, so you might as well just get it done.
Yeah, I like this choice too. You really don't want to have to climb that mountain more than one more time if you can avoid it, and you're already doing it, like you mentioned. So Skull Woods, Misery Mire at some point, and Turtle Rock left on the slate. Just a few crystals to go. An hour and 13. This race just dragging on at this point because they have just literally been following each other's footsteps the moment that they had the ability to do so going into Swamp.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of route diversions at this point.
I think the one thing that might remain for route divergence really is just their approach to Mire, as there are a couple different ways you could try to find the 2 items in there if we end up needing.
Nah, we're not going to need anything in Mire because all we need now is a Quake. So by the time they get to Mire, that's it.
Yeah, so I mean for the big key, really.
Yeah, the big key routing in Mire actually can be significant if it's not a God Mire.
No, I don't recall. Does Salty know how to hover? That'd be the question, because I mean that would be the one other remaining twist.
Yeah, I don't know if either one of these guys can hover, so I won't swear to it one way or the other. But yeah, if you get that big key in that first bridge chest, speaking of big keys, we get a big key on Mothula.
A relief to know, thanks to the watery toes from earlier, that will not be necessary. But just to find it then and there, you've nearly all cleared.
Okay, chat saying the Hula knows how to hover. It doesn't usually do it. Okay. So since this is definitely not a hover seed, since we did have to do Swamp Palace, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, and Salty's teammate D-Demolisher also pointing out that Salty doesn't believe Salty knows how to hover. I mean, it's possible, you know. But of all the tech that we've seen Salty skip over, I kind of doubt it. We'll call it legacy tech, which he was actually really good at. That's why I believe this has been such a competitive race, despite not using those more recently permitted glitches.
Yeah, it does look like we did not get a first item. We did see a whole lot of small keys when they dipped this earlier. So they're both checking that chest under the bridge, and they'll both be checking the big chest in hopes to find that Quake so they don't have to go up the mountain extra time.
Yeah, thanks to some RNG with Mothula, a little bit of a gap widening here between saltyphry and Julloninja. However, it is just that one item, and Julloninja actually needing to check that small chest as well. I thought we'd already seen that.
Yeah, I think we saw that on saltyfry's side.
Perhaps.
And this is the bomb jump, so they're going to be synced up again right now. Oh, and I thought saltyfry had that in the right spot, and he bailed on it. And just 20 rupees, so it looks like Turtle Rock's got to be the next play. Saltyfry has more stuff available to him. I think we've seen everything else from on Julloninja's side. And you just go, I mean, it's a crystal dungeon. It's a full clearable crystal dungeon. You do it, and you hope you find the Quake, and if you don't, then you have to start weighing your options.
Yeah, because I can't see either of them doing the Spike Cave before going in there.
No, definitely not. Spike Cave easily routed right afterwards anyway, so you do it after. Yeah, I see calls for Quake and Pod. I don't know if they got all the items out of Pod or not, so I don't know if Helmosaur has an item or not. So that if they did not get all the items, then that certainly is a possibility.
Yeah, because that is the only thing still uncovered in the Palace of Darkness. We have literally seen everything else in there.
Yep. And people in chat saying that they did get all the items out of Pod, so Helmosaur sitting there with a map or a compass if that's the case.
Well, you can tell just how much these two racers want this win. Really important for both teams. A win here for either team will put them in a tie, actually a three-way tie for third place in their division, the Skull Woodsville division, I believe, with Yutang Clan and Tile Roomies, some of which have already been raced against. So both schedules actually have a lot of difficult teams remaining. So this is kind of a pivotal week to either split or take 2-0.
Yep. Get a small key right away. Turtle Rock, a little bit like Pod, is a lot of the front front is key heavy. Doesn't quite have that same pod logic with the guarantee.
Now this is interesting. I've been waiting to see if anybody actually does quick swap throughout this torch room. It's kind of a difficult quick swap to do. Conventionally, of course, through the pause buffer you would see it, but this does still position the camera in a convenient place to still make the door. Interesting to see both of them do that.
Okay, so far we've seen big key and 2 small keys. Saltyphry using some hookshot iframe strats, whereas Julloninja was just going to go ahead and use that cape.
Yeah, lots of magic refills available to us in this dungeon, a minimum of 4, I believe, if you count an out-of-the-way one, or 2 out-of-the-way ones. So, I mean, definitely not a bad idea to use the magic available to you.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, our runners and their foes in this dungeon chomping at the bit to try and progress through. We will use all of our available keys. We have found the big key, I believe. You saw it in the torch room.
But
so
we're not in go mode, so we do need to open up that lava chest to see if that quake is sitting in there.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately for Julloninja, with the anti-fairies and the Hokuboku doing a bit of a hokey pokey throughout that switch room, going to actually take a little bit of extra time and damage, giving saltyphry a little bit of an edge to kind of catch up here to the lava chest,
and
as it ends up being
just a map.
Well, at least they can read well in there. I mean, there's a lot of light.
Yeah, there, except for one room, but we got a lamp, so we're good. And we are going to have to go outside, check Mimic Cave, check the big chest. And just 50 rupees.
Definitely a cave no runner wants to see, particularly at this stage of the race. However, it would be fair for them to assume their opponent definitely has to check it too. If only they knew how close they were to each other.
And a piece of heart in the big chest. So it turns out we could have skipped that whole part. The odds of being able to do that are not great when you have to open up the lava chest, though. So we will see a key in the crystal roller room, and another key will be sitting on Laser Bridge, but we'll see what other 3 items are on Laser Bridge. Not to mention Trinex himself.
And I think at this point, we expect one of those 4 things to be the Quake. I mean, there's Spike Cave still, so I guess that's the one other out.
And I can't imagine that they don't go right to Spike Cave after this, so we'll find out pretty quickly if it's there. I'm trying to think if there's... I'm still not sure if we saw both items in Hera. Saltyphry, having not been in there, would be natural for him to go in there.
Or at least not having checked more than that very first combo.
Yeah, that's right.
So perhaps this represents a chance for Julloninja to pull ahead.
50 rupees. Piece of heart. Saltyphry doing a little better with his laser skips. There's our key. Until he falls down.
Yeah, it is definitely riskier to do the dashes. However, it can also be kind of just as risky to do stutter steps as we're seeing Julloninja do.
And
Definitely
bombs.
getting everything.
Did we see? I'm not. Julloninja doing a quick menu check to see if he has both map and compass. I think we've seen only one of those, so it means Trinex is not going to have our item, but I wouldn't swear to it. One of the worst parts about Quicksoft is those of us in the broadcast booth don't get to see those menus as often, so we don't get to see that when runners have maps, compasses, big keys, etc.
Yeah, we can literally go like 5, 10, 30 minutes without seeing the menu. Certainly not a menu boss here. Gold Sword and both rods available too, as Trinex goes down in very short order. Just takes one of each and 3 slashes. Both of them nearly in sync.
Saltyphry gonna have to be a little bit careful. Only 6 hearts. Should be fine with that red mail though.
Julloninja flexing a little bit harder on Trinex, getting the bottom center left kill, which is actually as fast as it gets.
And it is indeed our Quake medallion.
Well, that's really huge for Saltyphry, as not needing to check the rest of Hera means this is just a straight dash to the finish, and who can execute faster? Could not pick a worse opponent to be against in Julloninja's shoes than Saltyphry. Saltyphry well known for GT execution. There still remains a Meyer, though, that could separate the two of them.
Yeah, Meyer big key is a thing, and GT big key is a thing, so we'll see what kind of locations we have for both of those.
You know, I can't think of a single race I would rather be casting here to finish off this open mode week. I mean,
yeah,
we got a lot of crazy modes.
Okay, and can we get a proverbial God Meyer, or are we going to have to go search out that big key? It's going to tell a little bit of the tale of who ends up winning this race.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how they do as well in GT, but this could be a very important difference, as you mentioned, whether or not we're waiting on a cutscene, whether or not we're going all the way to the chest north of Big Chest, and who would be considering a potentially risky gambit to find the big key. We'll find out shortly here. We got the first 2 checks coming up real fast. Up north here on the bridge, Julloninja, first one too. It's Saltyphry going to go right instead. You can check the spike chest first.
Ooh, and unfortunately for Saltyphry, that's not the right answer. Julloninja finding that big key right away. We do have a Godmire. We're not going to see any more checks in this dungeon.
So slight delay for Saltyphry, a good 10 to 15 seconds minimum, maybe even 20. However, it could definitely be worse.
Oh, for sure.
But once again, this is turning into just a straight shot to Ganon at this point. GT routing about all there is of a difference once we clear this dungeon. And speaking on the execution front, with Silver Arrow's Gold Sword, this is about as straightforward of a Vidi fight as you can get. You could use your arrows or potentially try to save them, depending on what your plans are throughout GT. Being that we both have 30 to work with here between the 2 runners, I think it'd be worth it to use the arrows.
Yeah, I think you use the arrows here. There are enough places to get arrows in GT on your way if you end up getting to Armos Knights that they're fine with silvers. Now, if they're not on silvers, that's a different story, but you know, we've got silvers, so we might as well just do the quickest fight you can do.
Well, neither of our runners doing the spooky action glitch to save about 10 seconds or so in an optimal scenario here in the basement. Perhaps realizing it's no longer October.
There you go.
I'm giving credit to chat for that pun. That wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
Well, blink and you missed it. The eyeball is certainly poked out here. Julloninja just ripping through it, just like Saltyphry here. Not too far behind him. really waiting more for the second phase of the fight than anything. Both leaving with 19 silver arrows to their names.
So that means we have a game to play here. I assume we're going to follow Julloninja unless something weird happens and saltyphry gets in first. But so keep an eye out. We'll see who actually does get into GT first. Dead rocks could screw people up, making it blocking their way. It wouldn't be the strangest thing ever.
So folks, if this somehow is your first time seeing this game, and you're wondering why in the world this chat just flooded with numbers right now, well, there are 22 locations, I believe, in Ganon's Tower where you can find that big key. We want you to guess where you think it's going to be. As Tracy has already mentioned, we'll be following Julloninja because he's going to be the first one into the tower at this rate. Get your guesses into chat. We'll cut it off as they're about to enter, and if you end up guessing closest or right, I'm guessing it'd have to be right in this scenario. A lot of people tuning in. Thanks, folks. You'll win some imaginary internet points. You know, we like to play it. Tracy, what are you hoping for in this situation? You know, we got a very close race.
Well, I'm hoping for a very close pickup of the big key in general. Keep the race close. I always go with 5, though, for my guess, because it's a nice early number, but it's not the very first item, not the very first one we see.
I went 21 myself just because I didn't see any other numbers available. Chat was just ready to go. Typically, I guess 14, but I'm a big fan of Bob. Crystal's dancing across the screen. Both of our runners are going to be very close on their entrance here. saltyphry lagging just a little bit behind through these Lionels as the stairs come down for Julloninja. We're going to cut off the game here shortly.
Okay, Julloninja going straight to the left, so this could be a Dark Magician play. And our first check is the torch on, with just 20 rupees, so I'm not going to pick that up. So we'll see if saltyphry goes to the right at all. Let's see if we can gain any kind of advantage that way. If it is Hope Room, then advantage saltyphry. So number 2 is a cart container. 3 is small key. 4 blue cane. 5 blue rupees. And saltyphry is going to continue on right.
Yeah, so the Stalfos avoidance strategy pioneered by a runner, I believe pioneered by a runner called Dark Magician, very commonly chosen because those Stalfos can be quite irritating to destroy, and this does get you the more checks faster.
So that was up to 7, and we're going to see 8, 9, 10, 11 from saltyphry before we see him from Julloninja.
Oh, tile room.
Oh, tile room. Okay, so never mind. 8 is going to be tile room from Julloninja. I don't like this call. This could cost him badly if this isn't it. And it does.
Oh.
Because that is a big key, and saltyphry mirroring on out. So a number, so this will come from Julloninja. We don't know what it's going to be because there are 4 in that compass room.
Well, tables have certainly tiled. That's going to give Salty a chance to climb a little bit higher.
Yeah, Julloninja probably feeling way behind, hoping this is going to pay out. It's not. He's got 4 small keys. Oh my god.
Not the key he's hoping for.
No.
So it was 7 in Hope Room, that'd be 8, and then 9, 10?
8 would have been tile room, so this would be 9, 10, 11, 12, I believe.
That sounds right.
So 9 is 50 rupees. This should be 10 right here. So big key at number 10. He keeps checking, even though there's really nothing at this point he could possibly pick up that's going to help him. But this allowed saltyphry, like that choice to go to tile room. If they had both gone, if he had skipped tile room, we'd be right neck and neck again. So a bit of a shame.
Yeah, and saltyphry, a really tough person to give this advantage to. I mentioned briefly before, Salty, well known for his GT climbs. This was one of the things that made him so terrifying in the previous main tournaments. Is even if you had a routing advantage against him, he would have the ability to just blaze through literally everything. He's been very aggressive with his fire rod throughout, switching to silvers here for the Lamolus 2 fight.
Yeah, and GT a really good place to put your time in general, because it's, no matter what, you're always going to do it. It's just always there. Not always going to be quite the same depending on your equipment, of course, but being good at getting through GT, especially this top part, definitely a good skill to have for Randomizer. As our runners continue to make their way up. Feels a little bit bad with the way this race has gone. It could just come down to that tile room play. Julloninja clearly feeling behind. That's really the only time you're going to do that play, is if you feel behind. You just think, you know what, my only chance of winning is if it's here.
I mean, it could also speak to his respect for saltyphry as a runner, thinking that is the thing he would need to do in order to defeat such a difficult runner, or opponent, I guess. And I have to imagine both of these runners have sussed out at this point that this seed really is a very linear seed once you got to that, pair of flippers.
Yeah, that's right. At flippers, it was actually available pretty early, but at this point, seeing that your opponent hasn't finished, you got to figure that they were as late to him as you were. Saltyphry not taking the free refill with the powder there at the top.
And I think this really speaks to saltyphry's experience. Saltyphry has no concerns about gold sword silvers, not going to waste any possible opportunity to maybe quick swap faster to hook shot and get through that room quicker. Little optimizations that'll go a long way towards winning more races.
And I'm pretty certain he's still got a bottle of blue in his pocket, so if things go wrong, he's got an out.
Well, in spite of the divergence between the tile room and full right, this could be further apart than it is. Julloninja still fighting to keep in this. Very close to the Moldorm 2 fight, but a saltyphry pulling off a triple in round 1 of Aghanim 2.
Unfortunately, that would have been hard to even get a double on with the blue ball. But it gets a nice double on the third one. So a 3-round Aga 2, nothing wrong with that. The 2-round was not possible with that blue ball, so can't get much better than this.
Yeah, it's probably like the worst feeling ever is you get your perfect triple after, a setup that's not exactly the easiest possible, and then you lose the 50-50.
Yep.
Well, interesting that the last chest of the game was a heart piece that actually did offer a refill to Julloninja. Minimal time spent, 18 hearts, truly speaking to how much he's completed this seed.
Okay, as Julloninja goes into his Aga 2, saltyphry into Ganon. With Gold Sword, this will not take long. Gold Sword and silvers.
Yeah, Spin's not specifically offering any advantage, however, you can get some back-to-back hits a little bit faster from a weirder angle, so a nice little advantage to the positioning of Ganon there. That's probably an easier way to do the 6 swipes you need. For those of you less familiar with how the randomizer works, they do have the exact same pattern of RNG to work with for their first attempts at any of these fights, specifically Aghanim 1, 2, and Ganon. So at this point, saltyphry's race to lose.
He's going to have to be a little bit careful, only 3.5 hearts. We are past the worst of the damage possibilities. And we do have those silvers. He's going to get that early shot in. Doesn't quite manage to get the torch glitch, but torch glitch not really an issue when you have the silvers. Should get a double here. Oh, down to half a heart. Oh my.
Holy moly. He is not going to stop for his potion. He wants to win.
He thinks if he uses that potion, that might cost him. And I don't blame him as the way this race has gone.
We've seen fanfare snipes in this league, but today is not that day. Saltyphry with half a heart to his name, red mail and all, will be able to cross over that small little gap into the Triforce room to claim victory today.
Yeah, with an official race time of 1:37.49. GG to saltyphry. And we'll go ahead and let Ninja finish here too.
Just a difference of one phase of Ganon as Julloninja getting his torch glitch, setting up for another silver opportunity, maybe even getting the third? Getting 3, nice. Not quite a fanfare snipe, but I mean, within the minute, this is an exceptional race. I'm really happy to have a chance to talk about this in front of all y'all.
Yeah, this was a fun race to commentate. And Julloninja finishing with a 138.29. And so GG's to both our runners. Very, very good, very interesting race. In the end, the boots advantage that Julloninja had at the beginning, just not quite enough for the number of skips that saltyphry managed to get. And then that tie room just kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah, so with this win, saltyphry's Waffle House drive-through, aptly named after a runner named Waffle, who coined the term, they will rise to 2-2, whereas the Immortals will fall to 1-3, putting them lower in the division. We'll see if we can get them in for an interview. I'm sure they have strong feelings about this race to close out Week 2 open mode.
And while we're waiting on that, let's go ahead. Since this is the last race of the week, but of course next week when we get to the the standard boots, casual boots or whatever. So everybody starts boots and a sword. Our first race is tomorrow at 9:10 p.m. Unless something gets scheduled in between. We got Team Kappa versus Pendrana Drifters, Fear Agent versus Frostbite 3030, and we'll also do the Tuesday. Tuesday we got a nice morning matchup at 10:10 a.m. The Bomb Squad versus Op Got Good, F Coughlin versus Nielsen Alex 92. And at 4:10 on Tuesday, we have But We're Buddies versus Old Swagga Jacksons, Chelsea X Lynn versus Walter the Fourth.
And I think we may have even had a match added to the schedule since we had last pulled it up. It looks like on Monday, tomorrow, we do have an 8:10 p.m. as well. Zero Rush versus Oace. I like Big Boots versus Two Pearl, Two Furious.
Yeah, that's what I get for not refreshing.
Honestly, I mean, that's the nature of this thing. Matches
so
happening all the time. And the only way you folks can catch all of them is to, follow all these speed gaming channels, the ALTTPR league channels, between this Invitational League and the Open League as well. There's plenty of Randomizer to watch. So let's see if we can pull in our racers here. I believe we have Julloninja on standby.
And there he is. GG's Julloninja. And it looks like we got saltyphry as well. GG's to both of you.
GG's.
Thanks, GG.
Gotta say, what a wild ride.
It really was. Julloninja, you took a pretty big lead early with those boots. Saltyphry, a lot longer to get to them. But in the end, saltyphry, you managed to skip a whole lot of stuff that was completely unnecessary.
I don't know. I didn't feel like I skipped all that much. Like I skipped left side swamp. I skipped Hera and I guess desert, and that's about it in the end. Like by the time I got the flippers, it felt like they were pretty much last location almost. Only had a couple places to go at that point in time. So then it seemed kind of obvious. Like I just seen the Bombos medallion over there. Like originally my plan was I'm going to check that one chest where the flippers were. And I was just going to go water walk over and get that and just go into Ice Palace at that point in time. Like I was like, screw finding the flippers. I'm just going to go in and do something at this point in time. I don't really want to go find them because at that point in time, they would have been either in Hera or Desert. And neither one of those felt too good. So that was my plan at that point in time. Then I found the flippers and I'm like, all right, we'll go to Swamp first. And that makes getting over to the Bombos medallion nice and easy. And then from there, I can just go right into Ice, and that all kind of flowed together pretty good. And then by the time you find the Fire Rod, it seemed like TR was a logical point. So once you found the flippers, everything kind of flowed nicely. But up to then, it was a matter of, did you want to check the big key chest in Skull Woods? If you did, you probably would have been done super fast in this scene, right?
Probably.
Because everything else was right there, right? Like everything was just kind of
you two kind of converged on that big key chest, and the routing at that point was pretty much the same. But before that, it was differences. Julloninja checking Desert, Hera. He did also do left side swamp when the time came. So
yeah.
But
my boots saved me no time.
Though those flippers were aptly named because you two were in lockstep from that point on, basically waddling through the rest of it like neck and neck. Like you guys were wading through every bit of that in exact synchronicity, if that's the word for it.
Yeah, and Julloninja, you actually got into GT a little bit earlier and then made that tile room play. What was the thought process behind that?
Well, given that I had full cleared the entirety of the world, I needed tile room to have the big key.
That's fair.
That was the only thing that I felt could save me. I didn't expect Salty to be behind. Even with boots, I don't save that much time over the seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figure you probably... It's hard to say exactly who would have been in the lead because you went and did Dark Magician and then went into Tile Room, whereas saltyphry just went just went right. Did the Hope Room and then into the Compass Room. So you would have probably hit the Compass Room at about the same time, and then it just would have been an execution battle from there. But yeah, that Tile Room got you.
It would have been an actual tie, because Tile Room took me 42 seconds. I timed it while I was waiting.
Wow.
Well, that's what tile room's like, though. I mean, you have a minute to wait, you know. So, well, not
Might
quite
as
a
well,
minute, but
right?
yeah, like why not time it? Well, so this is a very interesting race to watch. I mean, Julloninja, you're coming back from season 2. I believe a different team entirely, if I recall correctly. Is that true?
No, same team as last season.
Oh, different division. I was looking at stats earlier. So you went 4-1 last season. So in theory, this should be the one loss for you, right?
There you go.
I know that anybody who's been watching this race today should have confidence that you can, really crank out a seed. I mean, like, for as much as you completed today, for this to be as competitive as it was, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I didn't play it effectively because I was just like, oh, fetch quest, let me go check that because I don't want to go into Skull Woods.
Yeah.
And then it kept happening.
Yep. Yeah, I think you found all the fetch quests, and none of them had anything.
Except for that mushroom. That did give us our hammer.
Mushroom, that's right. The mushroom hammer very early on.
See, that was the one that was the downfall once we found that. But also on the other hand, saltyphry, I believe this is your first entrance into the league. I don't believe you played last season. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. This is the first time I played in the league, so this is somewhat new to me. I mean, I've been playing Rando for a hell of a long time, but yeah, for the league, this is the first time I participated in it. So the team aspect's a little different, and I definitely enjoyed the co-op races last week. That was new and unique to me, and I had a fun time doing that.
Yeah, I gotta ask you though, diver down, icebreaker?
Yeah, maybe at some point in time. Since I've been playing this game for so long now, I'm not really big on practicing much. I just kind of play for fun at this point in time. So anytime all these new stuff comes out, I'm just like, oh, that's more stuff I'm not gonna learn.
I know. I totally understand. I totally understand.
Like, at this point in time, I've been playing for so many years. Like, I don't really want to learn a whole bunch of dudes. Like, I don't really want to sit around and practice. I just want to race. So I always hate when new stuff comes out because I'm like, oh. Like I've learned, I had to learn the Hera pot basically for the spoiler log tournament because I couldn't really afford to be going down in the basement for the big key if it was down there in a spoiler log race. Losing a minute and a half every race was just not going to be something I could afford to do.
Well, on that front, you might find the Samaria setups for diver down easier than like the bomb ones. I personally that was easier for me to learn. So, I mean, that might be the thing that I want to go with because bomb setups seem real finicky to me.
Yeah. I would argue the icebreaker is the one you need to learn. The diver down is not nearly as big a time save.
Yeah.
I've never been great with small, like, single pixel movements. That's always been my kind of issue with some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely worth pause buffers in those scenarios, almost like a hammer jump.
Yeah.
I'm really eager to see what's coming from these two teams, the Immortals and the Waffle House drive-through in the coming weeks. Now, I believe saltyphry, you said you did a co-op. Did you do both co-ops last week?
No, I just did one.
So then we still have a lot of races to see from you. And Julloninja, this was your first. Any particular modes sticking out to you?
Anything that isn't a basic mode. So mystery and all dungeons are good for me.
Nice.
I always like a variety of modes as well, although I am not a fan of all dungeons keys, so you will not see me next week. In general, I just hate, like, I like Key Sanity and I like all dungeons. I just hate the combination of them because it inevitably leads to searching for that Aga Tower key that's going to inevitably be at the top of GT. So you're going to completely fulfill the entire seat.
I had a Skullwoods big key at the top of GT once that led
Yeah,
to my last Aga Tower key.
Well, that's it. It's like you can have all these ridiculous situations. You get these absolutely ridiculous situations in those races. I'm just like, I don't want to be chasing a single small key for a tower that can literally be anywhere except for the lumberjack. I guess literally the only place it can't be.
All right. Anything else that either one of you want to add before we call it a night?
I'll just say it was fun and GG and have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, same sentiments as Salty. Thanks for putting on the restream.
All right, that's pretty much going to do it for us then. Can read out the schedule one more time, but also want to make sure I thank my co-commentator, Mystic, if I'm saying that correctly.
That's right. It was a pleasure. A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. So this was a really fun race. So thanks to our runners. If you aren't already following, go ahead and give them a follow. And of course, as always, shout outs to our tracker, doing the hard work behind the scenes, Duodeca, clicking the buttons, making sure we know where everything is. Reminding the schedule coming up, we do have 8-10, I Like Big Boots versus 2 Pro, 2 Furious, Zero Rush versus Oasi, and 9-10 tomorrow, Team Kappa versus Vendron Drifters, Fear Agent versus Frostbite, 10-10 on Tuesday morning, Bomb Squad versus Opt Got Good, F. Coughlin versus Nielsen Alex, and at 4:10 on Tuesday, we have Butler Buddies versus Old Swagger Jacksons, Chelsea X Lynn versus Walter the Fourth. Might see more races scheduled between now and then, so definitely keep an eye out on that SG schedule, and I'll let you close us out, Mystic.
Absolutely. Just the same, to echo the same sentiments, we really appreciate everybody in the Restream team, Duodeca, for the tracking, and everybody at Speed Gaming. If you are interested in following these runners, we have a exclamation mark R command that you can see in chat. Also, if you're looking to see the upcoming matches for their next week, Tracy's mentioned some of the schedule as well, but the Immortals will be facing off against Yutang Clan, and we will see Waffle House Drive-Thru taking on Sphere Affinity. So things here in the Skull Woods division heating up, and the rest of the league. You can see us here on these channels in the ALTTPR League if you want the Open League as well. I've been Udiamonistic, joined today by Tracy M. Thank you, folks, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.